All right, so this week the highly anticipated Sony a7V was announced, and it probably has a lot of a7IV users like myself wondering if it's worth it to upgrade. In this video, I'm going to explain the rationale behind why the answer for me is no for now. This is the Sony a7IV, and I've been shooting with this camera for 4 years now, including all of these YouTube videos. I've made a couple videos on this camera already. I think it's a fantastic camera for both photo and video, and right now you can pick it up at a pretty good deal. Now, let's dive into some of the upgrades from the a7IV to the a7V. The only big upgrade I can see from the physical aspect of the camera is the flippy, tilty screen thing, which you get on the a7R5 and some of the other flagship Sony cameras, which I admit is a nice upgrade, and I do wish that the a7IV had it. Moving into the photo upgrades, this is an area where I would say there is a big step up from the a7IV to the a7V, particularly if you shoot wildlife, sports photography, action photography, anything where you have fast moving subjects. First of all, you get pre-capture, which is totally awesome, and I wish the a7IV had it. Essentially, if you half press the shutter button to focus, it already starts capturing photos before you push the shutter button down. That way, if you're focusing and then you take the photo and you miss your shot, you still have a second of pre-capture before you actually press the shutter to where you can actually get that shot if you missed it. Super handy if you're doing things, like I said, like action photography, wildlife photography, if you shoot weddings, somewhere where you have fast moving subjects. You still have a 33 megapixel sensor in the a7V, but it is now a partially stacked sensor. What this means is that you can now get way faster capture speeds, up to 30 frames per second, which again, if you shoot action or sports or wildlife, this is going to be a game changer. If you're like me and you mostly shoot landscape photography or portraits or family type stuff, then you probably don't need all of these extra features, although they would be nice to have. Another big upgrade that you get from the a7IV to the a7V are all of the AI features you get with the AI chip. So that means all the best autofocusing, auto white balance, auto everything that uses AI, just basically everything that the a7IV can do and more and better. Now, me personally, I don't find that the autofocus in the a7IV is bad by any means. So again, it's one of the reasons why I'm choosing not to upgrade. If I had an older camera, like maybe the a7III or anything older than that, or if I was coming from a really cheap DSLR camera or something, then getting the a7V would be a no-brainer. But since I already have an a7IV and a lot of these things are already really good in the a7IV, I don't really think that there's a need for me to upgrade. Now, moving into the video upgrades, this is an area, at least for me anyway, where I don't think that there's a big enough reason, probably for most people, to upgrade from the a7IV to the a7V. One, you get uncropped 4K 60, which is a nice upgrade, and it is a hindrance to the a7IV. Another one for me anyway, at least on paper, is that the second base ISO is now at 8000 instead of at 3200, which theoretically means that you should be able to get better low light performance, but I'll wait for people to actually test this and post the footage to make that call. The only other real upgrade that I can see from a video perspective that's enticing to me is the stabilization. I don't know how many stops the a7IV has and what the a7V has, but just from some of the footage that I've seen, it looks like the image stabilization is a lot better. Those are the only real upgrades, to me anyway, that stand out on the a7V from the a7IV. I know a lot of people are harping on the fact that the a7V doesn't have open gate. But personally, I don't care at all about that feature, and even if it had open gate, even if it shot raw video, that wouldn't be a selling point for me to upgrade either. I think Gerald and Dunn did a pretty good explanation of how open gate is overrated, and I totally agree with that. Again, coming from someone that mostly shoots YouTube content, shoots stuff for my family, shoots some side projects, the a7IV is still more than enough camera than I need. Is the a7V a nice upgrade? Absolutely. And again, if I was coming from a camera that wasn't as good as the a7IV, I think it would be an easy upgrade. The a7V looks perfect, but for me, I can't justify spending the extra money on the a7V when I already have a camera as capable as the a7IV. So for now, until my intrusive, always wanting to upgrade to every single camera thoughts win, I'll be sticking with my a7IV. Okay, let's be honest, I'll probably end up upgrading.